Imagine coming home after a long day, exhausted, only to find someone else's car parked in your driveway. Again, your fists clench, your heart races, and you've had enough. That's exactly where I was fed up with my neighbor's disrespect. But this time, I turned the tables in a way he'd never forget. Stick around for a revenge story so satisfying, it'll leave you cheering. If you've ever been pushed to your limit by someone who just doesn't care, this story's for you. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and let's dive into a tale of justice that'll make you smile from ear to ear. Picture this: a quiet suburban street, lined with neat little houses, green lawns, and picket fences. It's the kind of place where you wave to your neighbors, maybe share a beer on a Saturday. That was my life. I'm just a regular guy, let's call me Jake, living in a modest 2-bedroom home I'd worked hard to buy. My pride and joy, my driveway. It's not much, but it's mine. A small patch of concrete where I park my beat-up sedan after long shifts at the warehouse. But then there's my neighbor, Chad. Yeah, picture a guy in his late 30s, always in a tank top, blasting music from his garage, acting like he owns the whole block. Chad had a shiny red pickup truck he treated like his firstborn child. Polished it every weekend, revved the engine just to show off. Problem was, Chad also had a habit of parking that truck in my driveway, not his own, not the street. My driveway. It started small. One day I came home from work, my back aching, my stomach growling, and there it was, his truck, sprawled across my spot like it belonged there. I knocked on his door, polite as could be. "Hey, Chad, mind moving your truck? That's my driveway." He smirked, leaned against his doorframe, and said, "Relax, man, it's just for a sec. I'm unloading some stuff." I nodded, figuring it was a one-time thing. But a sec turned into hours, sometimes all night. Weeks turned into months, and Chad's truck became a permanent fixture in my driveway. I'd ask him to move it calmly at first. "Chad, come on, I need to park." His response always the same lazy shrug. "It's just for a sec, Jake. Chill." But it was never just a second. I'd have to park on the street, sometimes blocks away, lugging groceries in the rain. My patience was fraying like an old rope. Tried everything. I left notes on his windshield. "Please don't park here. This is my property." They'd end up crumpled in my mailbox. I even went to his house with freaking cookies, hoping a friendly gesture would get through. He took the cookies, ate one in front of me, and said, "Thanks, man, but I need the space for my truck. You don't use your driveway that much anyway, right?" My jaw dropped. The audacity. I could feel my blood boiling, my hands shaking. As I walked away, the worst part, Chad started acting like I was the problem. He'd roll his eyes when he saw me coming, muttering about how I was uptight or making a big deal out of nothing. I started dreading coming home. My own house, my sanctuary, felt like a battlefield. Every time I saw that red truck, it was like a slap in the face, a reminder that Chad didn't respect me, my space, or my boundaries. Last Friday, I hit my limit. It had been a brutal week at work, overtime shifts, a boss breathing down my neck, and a paycheck that barely covered the bills. All I wanted was to pull into my driveway, crack open a beer, and relax before heading out of town for a weekend camping trip with my buddies. I turned onto my street, my shoulders already loosening at the thought of escape. But then I saw it. Chad's truck, parked diagonally across my driveway, taking up every inch of space. I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. My heart pounded in my chest, a dull thud echoing in my ears. He's doing this on purpose, I thought. He knows I'm fed up, and he's testing me. I could picture his smug grin, hear his dismissive chill. Man, in my head, something snapped inside me. I wasn't going to beg anymore. I wasn't going to be the nice guy who gets walked all over. This time, Chad was going to learn a lesson. Sat there for a moment, staring at his truck, and a plan started to form. It was so simple, so perfect, it almost felt like fate. I was leaving for the weekend, 3 whole days away. Chad's truck was in my driveway, and I had my car. Why not make him feel the inconvenience he'd been shoving down my throat for months? I pulled my sedan right behind his truck, so close our bumpers were practically kissing. His truck was boxed in my car on one side, my house on the other, and a big old oak tree blocking the back. There was no way he was getting out without moving my car first. I grabbed my duffel bag, locked my sedan, and double-checked the doors. Good luck, Chad, I thought, a grin creeping across my face. I hopped into my buddy's truck waiting down the street, and we hit the road for the campsite. As we drove out of town, my phone started buzzing. Missed call from Chad. Another, then a text. Dude, WTF. Move your car. I could imagine him standing in my driveway, staring at his trapped truck, his face turning redder by the second. I didn't reply. I turned my phone to silent, leaned back in the passenger seat, and let the hum of the highway wash over me. For the first time in months, I felt in control. While I was roasting marshmallows and laughing with my friends in the woods, Chad was stuck. His precious truck, his pride and joy, was trapped in my driveway for the entire weekend. No way to move. No way to get to his Saturday gym session, his Sunday car wash, or wherever else he strutted around like king of the block. I pictured him pacing, cursing my name, maybe even trying to push my car out of the way. But my sedan wasn't going anywhere by the time I got back Sunday night. His truck was still there, exactly where I'd left it. Chad was waiting on his porch, arms crossed, glaring at me like I'd stolen his dog. "What the hell, man?" he shouted as I stepped out of my buddy's truck. "You trapped my car for 3 days." I looked him dead in the eye, my voice calm but firm. "Maybe now you'll think twice before parking in my driveway. I've asked you nicely for months." "Chad, you didn't listen." His mouth opened, then closed, like a fish gasping for air. He didn't have a comeback. For once, he was the one who felt powerless. I walked into my house, closed the door, and let out a long, satisfied sigh. Justice tasted better than any beer I'd ever had. Sometimes the best way to teach someone a lesson is to let them feel the consequences of their own actions. Chad thought he could disrespect me forever, but that weekend, it flipped the script. Karma's a funny thing. It doesn't always come with a big showdown. Sometimes, it's as simple as a locked car and a long weekend. What do you think? Did Chad deserve it? If this story made you cheer for Jake's sweet revenge, smash that like button and drop a comment. What's the most satisfying payback you've ever seen or pulled off yourself? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another story like this. Until next time, stay sharp and keep standing up for what's yours.